Hello, welcome to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton, and with me this evening is Sergio Barrera.
Paul, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I love when I get the all caps treatment.
You do. I reserve that for special movies and Sergio.
I appreciate that.
If Susan ever decided to go to a movie again, she could certainly come on and get all caps treatment as well. But
I'll
let
her know.
She'd actually have to go see a movie.
Exactly.
And I know that that's not like high on her list of things to do. So
right.
All right. So Sergio, to flash ahead briefly, you are here because anytime a Stephen King adaptation comes out, I request that you come on because I know of how big of a Stephen King fan you are.
Yeah,
oddly enough, 2 John Bachman book adaptations come out in the same year,
right?
So, which is the only Stephen King I've read other than The Shining. So it's the rare thing where we will be talking about not just the movies but the books as well.
Right.
We already did this for The Long Walk. We're going to do it for The Running Man. But when I spoke to you, or we exchanged messages a few weeks back, and I was just like, "Hey, don't forget." This weekend it's going to be The Running Man.
Right.
You had said, I'd really like to do a retrospective of 1995. Right. And I said, all right, let's kick it back like it's 1995. So let's lay the groundwork. What are you up to in 1995?
Oh gosh, 1995, I'm 25 years old.
Okay.
I am at the beginning of. No, actually, I'm still in retail. All I was doing is working back then.
Oh, wow.
I'd been married for 3 years. It was just like, trying to figure out life, trying to figure out, as in my mid 20s, still not, hadn't finished my degree, so I really didn't have anything to do but work.
Okay.
Married 3 years at that time.
I'll be honest with you. For 25, being married 3 years, that's a long time to be.
Yeah. But being married for 3 years and still both of us having no sense of how to manage money, how to, living week to week where possible, figuring out when that check's going to hit the bank, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
and so, ironically enough, one of my big escapes when life would get stressful was reading. And so, but I will say that the reason I was looking forward to someday having this conversation with you is because I'm at that point in my life where when I hear, oh man, it's been 30 years since, or this movie is 30 years old, or in some cases now 40 years old, I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, where does the time go, right? I hate to be cliche, but let's be honest, it's a cliche thing.
Yep, for sure. All right, just to give a quick rundown of what I'm up to. I'm a sophomore at University of Pittsburgh, junior at University of Pittsburgh, summer at Disney, which means every fall, every spring, winter, spring, and fall, winter movie I was lucky to get to. Getting to the movie theater from the University of Pittsburgh wasn't the easiest thing to do. It's an urban campus, the closest theater. You had to hop on a bus. I went to movies, but not as much. But during the summer, I was working at Disney World, and I saw every damn movie that came out, even if I wanted to or not. And so that's what I was up to. I sat down to prep for this today. And I started my first inclination was I'm going to go look at the movies based off of the box office.
Okay.
And the top 10 is a startling array of all-time bangers and movies that are just, how the hell did that make
really?
Top 10. I'm going to start with how the hell did that make the top 10?
Okay.
There's Batman Forever, which is the utterly forgettable Jim Carrey as the Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, which is only famous now for the fact that Tommy Lee Jones loathed working on this movie with Jim Carrey.
Right.
There was Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, which has like one funny scene, the pooping out of the rhinoceros, and then is just an utterly forgettable sequel.
Sure.
GoldenEye, which I'm sure you liked, frankly, is a mediocre Bond movie that only loved because it was the first decent Bond movie in like 20 years.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't really. I was not a big Pierce Brosnan Bond guy.
Cool.
So
I wanted to be a Pierce Brosnan Bond guy, but it had Casper, which I don't think was for either one of us, and it had Jumanji in it, which again I don't think was for us. And quite frankly, like I would have rather like seen Robin Williams doing something else. But then it has the bangers, and it had Toy Story, which was the #1 movie of the year. Like,
sure.
Which as a Disney person, it was just like, holy shit, what is this? What is this animation style? There was Apollo 13, which is which is a double all-timer. That was the #3 movie of the year,
right?
And that movie, if it were released today, wouldn't even make like $20 million in its entire run.
Sure.
It had Pocahontas was there, which I should have actually mentioned with the sort of what was that doing there. I mean, Disney was coming off of just an absurd run of movies, and this was like, oh, this is gonna follow up Lion King. Everybody's this is gonna follow up Lion King. Everybody's gonna love this, and then it was like, this is not that.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
And then the #9 movie on the list, which I can't believe was #9, Seven. I mean, that's where we're getting to 1995. This movie defined 1995, and the other one would be Die Hard with a Vengeance, which was #10 on the list. And do you remember seeing Seven in theaters?
I do, yeah. And I recall just what a mental impact it made.
Yeah,
to the point where it's still one of my favorite movies. I'm looking at there's various of these lists. Highest grossing film in 1995 by calendar, and on that list, I have to say that #10 is Waterworld. So
yeah, I'm
1995,
and that further exemplifies just the highs and lows of 1995. Right. I mean, listen to these great movies that pop up later. There's Crimson Tide at 11. There's While You Were Sleeping. There's Braveheart, which obviously would go on to win Best Picture.
Right.
There's Get Shorty, which is just one of the most rewatchable movies ever.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Like there's Heat. Come on.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Michael Mann's Heat came out in 1995.
Indeed. And that's the thing is this year, and I'm glad you captured it perfectly because your thought was exactly mine. What a year, what a roller coaster of a year.
Yeah.
In terms of, the highs are highs and the lows are lows.
Yeah.
And so, it's really something.
It really is. It really is. Because there's American President. There's 12 Monkeys. There's Clueless.
Yeah.
But then there's Waterworld. There's Congo.
Yeah.
There's I'm looking like the Mortal Kombat movie, which everybody was super excited about, which just absolutely stunk.
Right.
There was Outbreak, which people were excited about, but wasn't really very good.
Right.
There was where are we? Oh, I really wanted to hit one. There was The Net, which is an early internet movie that even back then was like, just like, are we seriously going to be making movies about this garbage forever now?
I mean, you also, I forgot that this was the year that gave us Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And,
but we have to mention Under Siege 2. I mean,
sure.
It's just like, how did this year even exist?
Seriously.
And how did anyone even bother to go see movies the next year when you're just being wrong-footed constantly with whether or not movies are going to be good or not?
Right. And that's what really, as I went back over the year in the last couple of days getting ready for this, that was really what struck me.
Yeah.
Is what an inconsistent year it was. Because back when we first talked about discussing this topic, I had just been focused on like, oh my god, this movie or this year was chock full of great movies.
Yeah.
But then as I went further, what I did is I did some research on like what were the movie releases monthly for that year.
Right.
And that's when you begin to realize, my God, like this was just this was one of the most inconsistent years in terms of movie quality.
Yeah.
And yet it leaves us with some of the absolute top titles, of years past. I mean, I'm looking at the month of, let's see, August gives us The Usual Suspects.
Okay.
It was in limited release at that time, but then it came out later the year. Clockers. This was the year of Desperado, dude. Like, I mean, again, I'm not saying it's the highest quality film, but it's and that's one. Actually, it's funny because I think I told you I went to go see the 30th anniversary screening with Robert Rodriguez and Danny Trejo here in San Antonio,
Right.
and that's what got me thinking. I'm like, what are the movies? I was like, oh my god, there's this huge amount. Great. But then as you dig deeper, you're like, but there was some garbage.
Yeah, there is so much garbage, and the garbage is so bad.
It really is. Yeah,
so bad.
It made the research even more interesting. The deeper I dug.
Yeah.
September of that year, Showgirls. But then in the same month, we got Tu Wong Fu.
Yeah, and Showgirls is interesting because Showgirls is the cult classic, and Showgirls is the movie that when it came out was recognized as being terrible.
Right.
And it really is a terrible movie.
It is.
But then you kind of realize that I think just about everybody who was in this movie, except for Kyle MacLachlan, knew that they were making a bad movie.
Right.
And that it's okay to make something that is this over the top bad if enough people are in on it. And I'm not saying that that's definitely what happened, but I am definitely saying that that's kind of what you need. That's the recipe for success for a reclaimed cult classic.
Sure.
And I mentioned earlier Seven, and this is the one for me, this is the one that stands out. This is the one that it's just like, name 90s movies, and I'm going to name Pulp Fiction. And I'm going to name Seven. Like those are just two movies that, it's like the first one that comes to mind is Pulp Fiction. Absolutely 100%. But kind of the second movie that comes to mind is Seven, because this basically spun off a genre of movie that, the 8mm, just like gritty movies, Fight Club. And also, although that would be Fincher, but also saved David Fincher's career, because he was given Alien 3 and that was a fiasco.
Right.
And it's still not a good movie, but the direction was fantastic. And Fincher is just this really famous music video director who everybody like Madonna, Michael Jackson, everybody wants to work with this guy who makes these amazing Michael oh my god, he did Freedom 90 from George Michael. Everybody wanted to work with this guy who directs these amazing music videos, and they give him Alien 3 but not really a coherent script. Like there are two scripts that and it's like, oh my god, did this kill his career? And then he comes out with Seven, and it's just like, there had never been, like, there's noir movies, right? And we all know noir movies. There had never been anything like this as a noir movie.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm glad you said that, because in my mind I was thinking Alien 3 was like, because it's Fincher, it's the noir Alien, right?
Right.
And it just didn't work because, like you said, the script was so bad.
Yeah.
But Seven was that movie that I came out of the theater thinking two things. Number one, this is going to stay with me for a long time.
Yeah.
But number two, I back then remember thinking this movie will stand up to time. It will still be horrifically it can land in any year, and you're going to have the same effect.
Yeah.
And even, I mean, I've rewatched it countless times, and it still gets me like every time.
Every time. And then we know what Fincher would go on to do. So
right.
But God, it's crazy. It's a crazy year. It's an absolutely crazy year.
The last 3 months of that year are just nuts. I mean, Get Shorty in October 7, along with those are the 2 out of October. But then November gives us, like you said, Toy Story, Casino,
right,
Braveheart,
which man, Casino could land on either side. Did you love it?
Right,
because it was enough like Goodfellas that you enjoyed it, or did you hate it because it wasn't enough like Goodfellas and you just wanted another Goodfellas?
Right. I happen to land on the side that it was good enough it was good as Goodfellas in terms of it lands on the good side. On the I love the movie.
Yeah,
it's a little more laborious to get through than Goodfellas was. But a lot of that has to do with some of the acting. But Braveheart was in November, and then, like you said, Heat in December, along with movies like
Heat,
Dead Man Walking.
Yeah.
What did you think of Restoration? I've only seen it once.
I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Okay, yeah, it was interesting. It's very interesting. I don't think my movie loving mind was ready for it back then. I need to revisit it.
So keep in mind this. So now you're in the months where if I was going to go see it, it had to be. Yeah, no, I've never seen Restoration. It had to be something that I really wanted to go see because it was going to be a pain in the ass for me to go see it.
Right.
And so yeah, I did. Restoration was not one of those that I made the trip for.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, maybe I'm mistaking it. I think I'm mistaken it. There's
Robert Downey Jr. in a.
Yeah, okay, no, that's not the movie I was thinking. What was I thinking? Now I gotta know. It's not gonna come to me. But it was a Tilda Swinton film where she played various roles. I don't know why I thought that was it, but I was wrong. Anywho.
Oh my God, Tommy Boy.
yeah. I was waiting to see what was gonna come up.
But then I say, oh my God, Judge Dredd. It's just
right. Yeah, it was all over the place. This became, like I said, it became an even more fun dive down the rabbit hole when I realized, okay, this was so all over the place.
I'm surprised,
and yet we're left with so many classics.
I'm surprised where The Usual Suspects is on this list, on the total gross list. It's at number 75 with 23 million. I would have assumed that Usual Suspects made at least 50, closer to 70 million, just because it had such word of mouth. It had you have to go see this movie. The ending is will blow your mind.
But did it during its theatrical run? I mean, obviously not with the money.
For sure.
I mean, you and again, I'm judging only through myself. I didn't see that movie till years later, so I don't recall it being talked about at the time. But it ends up winning awards, and of course another one of those films that builds up a following on video, to the point where even now people are still quoting from it and referencing it. So, yeah, 95 was a more interesting year than when I initiated this idea with you.
Oh my God, Brothers McMullen was 1995. All right.
30 years ago, man.
What wasn't 30 years ago, was more than 30 years ago, was both the release of the book, The Running Man, as well as the release of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, The Running Man, which came out in, I think, 87. But, so I again, we're going to go back in time, and it was the release of this movie that had my friend say, hey, if you should really read the book. The book is fantastic. And while you're reading the Bachman books, go ahead and read The Long Walk. And sure enough, he was right. The book was fantastic. And it made me want an adaptation, because as much as I loved the Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man movie, but it has nothing to do with the book.
No.
You know, almost nothing. And and especially as we got into 1995, when it's like, oh my God, you can make a movie this gritty and this dirty and this, you know, dank and this morbid.
Right.
It really like, I genuinely thought like somebody's gonna do this. Somebody's gonna like come in and sweep in and be like, I'm gonna really do an adaptation here because it deserves it. And I mean, it took, you know, another 30 years, obviously, before Edgar Wright comes in. Edgar Wright of the Coronado trilogy and Scott Pilgrim versus the World and Baby Driver fame. You know, this is something that he originally, I heard on an interview with him, he originally was looking at doing about 10 years ago. And then when COVID hit, he was kind of sitting around, and then somebody came up to him and said, hey, why aren't we just going to go ahead and do this? And so, you know, they eventually got it to where it was like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And I saw the first trailer and I got excited. So where were you? Like, what were your thoughts prior to the, you know, realizing this was going to happen? And what were your thoughts once you saw the trailer
for this most recent release, right?
Yeah, right.
So when I first saw the trailer, I remember thinking to myself, okay, now we have another shot. Let's see. Like, I was very, very apprehensive because it, like you said, it's a great book.
Right.
The book itself, I read years ago. But I remember thinking to myself, like, as a Bachman book, I read it before knowing it was Stephen King, right? That kind of thing. And so as I saw the trailer, I thought to myself, okay, I'm not even going to attempt to judge how close it is to the book, the source material, because the 87 version was so off the mark and so horribly bad. So really my only thought prior to seeing it was, okay, I mean, all right, well, we're gonna talk about it, and so I'll go.
Right.
But I was not overly excited about it.
Okay.
Because I'd already seen the source material get ruined before, you know.
Okay.
So
and did you, when that source material being ruined version came out, was there any part, because I got to see that before reading the book, and I think that's the way you need to experience the Schwarzenegger version.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Having experienced it the opposite, were you just mad? Like, were you just mad leaving that movie, or were you just like, well, okay, that was fine for a Schwarzenegger movie, but terrible as an adaptation?
Exactly. I mean, that was literally my thought, because and that's why I reserved my judgment on this one and wasn't overly excited about the fact that they'd redone it, because I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Because there's two paths this movie could potentially take in my mind.
Yeah.
Number one, it's a closer adaptation.
Right.
And like The Long Walk, it's going to have its own unique story, right? Or aspect of the story that may change, and I'm fine with that. Or it was going to be an attempt to do better than the movie. Right. And what I mean by that is, my fear was, this is going to be a remake of the film.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
That was my fear.
Okay.
And
it's not that. Let's just establish it is not a remake of the film. It is absolutely an attempt to do the book.
Yes.
And my thoughts on this movie are grounded in the fact that in 1995, I saw a movie where Gwyneth Paltrow's head was found in a box in the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Right.
And that movie was a top 10 grossing film of the year. And I understand that 2025 is not 1995.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing was like Gwyneth Paltrow's head being found in a box before. Like, audiences had never seen that before. So there really needs to be a reframing of what our audience is willing to see.
Sure.
Because it's not a question of what our audience is willing to see. It's a question of what are you willing to make that is good.
Right.
Because audiences are willing to see Gwyneth Paltrow's head in a box if the rest of the movie is as riveting and captivating as Seven.
Right, you know? Right.
And so my first concern, but I wasn't super concerned, but my first thought is, all right, Glenn Powell, who stars in the movie, is not necessarily a Gwyneth Paltrow's head is in a box kind of movie star.
Right.
And Edgar Wright has a frenetic style that I think works for the book and could lend itself to Gwyneth Paltrow's head being found in a box as long as he commits to it.
Right.
And let's just say that I'm going to just cut to it that the ending of this movie does not track with the book.
Not at all.
And that happened in The Long Walk. And during the conversation that we had with The Long Walk, we both agreed that worked. The shift in the ending of The Long Walk worked.
Yes.
Because they had changed the focus of the film equally meaningful, meaningfully away from this is an allegory for growing old to this is this is a are you doing things for the right reason type of movie. And for that shift, because of that shift, the change they made worked. Whereas in this movie, there was a conscientious decision made to change the overall tone of the movie to add the Edgar Wright humor,
right,
which usually works.
Yeah,
and I think does a disservice to this. In my mind, it does a disservice to this source material.
Well, and it's because of that decision that the source material gets compromised, because for about 90% of this film, it tracks very closely with the source material
in story, but not tone. I would
exactly say. No, absolutely. And so here's what I was going to get to. The two thoughts. The first one is, number one, it departs from the resolution of the book after it goes for it. Right. It goes for it,
right?
Albeit in a different fashion.
Sure.
But then it shies away from it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's bothersome.
And the way it shied away from it, you knew instantly, you knew, well, that's not the ending. There's something more happening.
Exactly. The other thing is that's where, when you're talking about the whole Edgar Wright style and so forth, is what was a large departure in tone and such from the source material.
Right.
It was, and I hope this thought makes sense because it's going to take me a second here.
Yeah.
In relation to the source material, it followed it very closely.
Yeah.
In terms of tone and overall approach to action, and I won't even get started on Glenn Powell's one-level acting, it was more reminiscent of the movie, the 1987 movie, in terms of its energy.
Okay, interesting.
And so I found it was this two-tier kind of thing where I'm like, I'm happy with how close they tracked to the source material until they needed to create the ending they wanted to have, right?
Because the ending that happens in the book wouldn't match up with this tone at all.
Exactly.
The ending would be like, what the? How did that happen?
The reason it worked, the reason that what they did with The Long Walk worked was because it didn't change the tone of the book.
Right, at all. Right.
This shortcuts the book,
right,
and I can be okay with it, except it had other issues that I just couldn't get past, Glenn Powell being one of them. So
okay, yeah, I think so in the movie, so the movie, everybody's seen The Running Man before, from the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but the general conceit of the actual of the book and this movie is that Ben Richards is actually just a down on his luck guy who lives in the slums in a society where the top 1% earners make 99% of the money, and then the bottom 99% earners stuck with 1% of the money are just absolutely fucked. And there is nowhere for them to go. There is nothing for them to do. And so the powers that be have given them freebie. It's, TV, but it's free. It's basically cable television that they decide on all of the programming for, but it's free. And because it's free, it's the only entertainment they can have. And it's just morbid and gross and exploitive in order to take advantage of the fact that people are poor.
Right.
Which is really fucking dark. And it is exactly what's going on in this movie. And Ben Richards is married, loves his family, has a little girl who's sick, and he just needs money to get his little girl is super treatable, but he has no money, no job. And so he goes to get on Freevee, on one of these exploitive shows, and he gets cast in the most exploitive of all of them, which is called The Running Man, which gives you money for as long as you can avoid being killed. But the entire country is trying to kill you because anybody who sees you can get money for seeing you and gets extra money if seeing you leads to a kill, and even more money if you do the killing. So really dark, really morbid, and adding. And there is I've had problems with this already, where there are aspects of this that were very prescient by Stephen King, who wrote it in 1972, didn't get it published until not a decade, but like 7-8 years later. There are aspects of this that kind of mirror the tone, and I'm not going to say the direction as much, but certainly the tone and the feeling that America has, in general as a society right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I applaud movies that are willing to take the risk and flash a mirror at that and say, hey, this is where we are. How do you feel about that? I understand that there are people who want that or appreciate that or tolerate that with a little bit of levity. I am not one of those people. I don't think anything is funny about what's going on in this current timeline right now.
Right.
And when the levity is added, it just turns me off immediately. And there's just way too much levity in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I mean,
yeah.
I was going to say, when we consider, again, it was very difficult for me to separate these two experiences we've had this year with Bachman novels, because I can't speak for Stephen King, and I haven't done enough reading to know this is why he did it. But I often wonder, did he write books like this under the pseudonym because he figured, number one, he was very prescient for, what he was writing about the time that is now, very much visible within our society. Maybe he was concerned if I write under Stephen King, then it becomes a little too dark, even though he wrote horror, or not wrote, but writes horror.
Right.
But regardless, both of these books and movies that we saw this year are very applicable to our time, but one, like you said, created way more of it leaned too much into, but this is funny, right? And it was like, it just, I don't know, it didn't really land for me with any sort of memorable impact the way Long Walk did. And so, but then again, I don't know that filmmakers have cracked how to approach this book because they just lean into the exploitative nature of what was happening in the book, the story itself, rather than the human element of the entire, story.
I don't. Well, but here's the thing: is I don't think you can separate the two and make.
No, you're right.
There's a human element in the movie or in the book, and the entire humanity of the book comes from the exploitative nature of the book.
Yes.
Those are inextricable. And I think,
but I feel like the movie only leaned into that in Act 1.
For sure. The movie understands that. This movie understands, like, the first movie doesn't give a shit.
Not at all.
At all. Okay. This movie cares.
Right.
But decides to cast Glenn Powell, who is supposed to be the angriest man that has ever done the testing to be on the games before.
Yeah.
That's not Glenn Powell. Like, that's just not who Glenn Powell is.
Okay.
Like, you look at Glenn Powell, and I don't have problems with, like, you clearly have sort of like some, base general dislike for Glenn Powell, or maybe not a dislike, but just a general, like,
I just don't know his work well enough.
Yeah. Okay. He does I think he does a decent array of things. But also I think that he's not somebody who you look at and think, oh, there's an angry guy, like, ever.
No, like, okay, yeah, that I can see.
And so Joaquin Phoenix is too old to do the role, but like, I could have seen him being an angry guy. Like, there are actors that you can find actors that just have resting angry face
that can pull that off. Yeah.
And that's what you need. And I'm just not buying that Glenn Powell is angry. Like, it's just,
yeah. This was my first exposure to him since, I think, what is it, Maverick? It's probably the only other movie that I was looking at his filmography a second ago, and I'm like, Glenn Powell is just a blind spot for me, because I remember him and he does the arrogant, he does arrogance well. I just felt like they told him, he got the note of, you're going to be the angriest guy to ever have done this. But then it was like, he didn't dial it down once he hit that mark. And that is what I think. And that could be more direction than his acting.
Did you not watch him in Linklater's Hitman in 2023? It was a swinger. No, okay.
No, I haven't seen it.
Tilda Swinton. It's really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen. What is the other one that I saw on the list?
Figures, maybe.
Nope, not yet. Still haven't seen it. I need to.
Yeah, that's a spot for you. Everybody Wants Some is his other kind of like big time.
Yeah.
And Twisters, I don't know.
Twisters was the one that I saw on the list. I was like, I've never seen that, so I need to. Yeah. So again, I don't have anything against the guy and his acting. I just felt like his acting was in this film was at one level.
Yeah. And I also think making Ben Richards the angriest man to ever show up is reductive of what was going on with Ben Richards, because he is, in the book, he is not the angriest man. He is the most desperate man.
Right. There you
go. And desperation, you can be angry about your desperation, and 100% Ben Richards was angry about his desperation.
Absolutely.
But desperation does a different thing to you than anger. And I think that they always got close to that idea without ever actually committing to it. And so, I mean, I think for both of us, ultimately, but flip side, by the way, I was 100% entertained by this movie. Like,
sure.
If I remove my, distaste for the tone shift, it still works up until the third act. And really, not only does the third act not work for me because I know what actually happens in the third act, but the third act doesn't work for me because there are so many choices that are made that it's like, what's going on? The lead hunter constantly wearing a mask. What's going on? The lead hunter then having to remove his mask. What's going on? Who cares?
Yeah.
There are so many things going on in that third act that it's just like, what's going on?
It's because that was such a it doesn't matter moment that I'm going to go ahead and just say who it was, because I have to ask you, Paul.
Yeah.
When you saw who it was,
Yeah.
did you go, oh,
I had no idea who that person was.
Lee Pace? That's Lee
I don't know
Pace.
who's
Oh,
Lee
okay.
Pace.
He was oh god, the villain in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. He's one of those guys that when
really?
you look at his face and you'll know exactly. Like
No, he had way too much hair for me to recognize him.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like it was that big of a reveal.
No,
he was the Elf King in Desolation of Smaug,
right? So and the reveal of him, being a former runner,
right?
It's just like, we never saw a fucking picture of this guy before. So why would we care? Like
exactly.
There's just
that's what the reveal was missing.
Right.
There should have been, at least in the very beginning, some form of photo flash or something. Anyway, yeah.
So there was a movie earlier this year, a couple weeks ago, that I reviewed called Begonia, which was the latest from Yorgos Lanthimos, which I commended for being expert at just wrong footing the audience the entire time. Like, you're always trying to figure out what's actually going on, and the movie just never leads on, and gives you hints both ways. It's like the conceit of the movie being that Emma Stone is a CEO, Jesse Plemons thinks she's an alien. Is she actually an alien? And just the entire movie is just like, is she or isn't she an alien? And there's like, okay, maybe she is an alien. Clearly she's not an alien because Jesse Plemons insane. Maybe she and it's just brilliant. It's just brilliantly crafted. And the reveal of McCoyle or McCabe or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever his name was.
The reveal of him, I feel like it's supposed to be like a aha moment,
right?
Like where the movie was wrong footing us the entire, but it just lacks any sort of.
It falls flat. Yeah,
it's just it, and that ultimately it's just like, okay, hold on. Do I have my spoiler alert? Yeah, shit, I got rid of it. I don't know where.
I just don't think it was needed.
Oh, here it is. # spoiler alert. At the end of the book, he flies the fucking plane into the building.
Right.
But even though that ending wouldn't work for the tone of this movie, I just really wanted them to fly the fucking plane into the building.
Sure. Absolutely. So. That's why for me, they shortchanged us on the ending of the source material. In one way they got there, but then they're like, did we? Then there was the absolute change of the whole ending where the plane, exactly. So
all right, here and in a world where the corporation controls the message and everything that they do, there's no fucking way that he's surviving that crash.
Right.
They're gonna know where he is. They're gonna find him and they're gonna kill him. And
exactly,
it's absurd to think anything else would happen. All right, here at Real Talk. But again, I was entertained. Here at Real Talk, we do tacos instead of stars. If we feel like something deserves a little extra, we will add guac rather than like doing half a taco. Why? Because nobody eats a half a fucking taco. All right, Sergio, Running Man, where do you land?
Okay, my judgment of this is only possible with me separating it from the source material.
100%.
100%.
I'm going to do the same thing.
As a film, I was entertained.
Yes.
I have a lot of it that I enjoyed.
Yes.
But there were elements of it from a story standpoint, especially in the third act, that were just such a shortcoming for me. So this for me is a solid 3 tacos. And we normally say that if we give 3, there's a chance we may see it again. I don't think I need to. Right. But I can't fault it for what it is attempting to do. And it's a good 3 tacos for me.
Well, it's a flimsy 3 tacos. It's one of those where it's like you order 3 tacos, and by the time you get to the third taco, you're like,
I'm done.
I could have just done 2, but I'm gonna finish this because I already have the third taco.
Gotcha.
Because the third
That's
act
fair.
is just the third act is really just like, okay, we need to kind of get to the ending, and then extends the ending by 10 extra minutes.
Yeah.
Really need to do that.
Yeah.
I have 2
Indeed.
more movies to do. Do you want to hang out just for a minute? I promise we won't go long.
Sure, I can do that.
All right. First movie is Now You See Me, Now You Don't. But this is part of the reason why I want you to hang out. You've seen the first 2.
I have, yeah.
And were you just like, I don't have time to go see these, so forget it? Or
no,
were you just not interested at all because the second one was so mediocre?
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, this isn't a series that needed to be continued.
Okay. Here's what I will say on this. The first movie I gave 4 stars. The second movie I begrudgingly gave 3 stars because for me, the baseline for heist movies is 3 stars, and you have to do something really egregious, like put Kevin Hart in your movie in order to get less than 3 stars, or also kill a racehorse in the first 5 minutes of your movie, has happened with a streaming movie that came out with Mark Wahlberg earlier this year. So Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I'm like, okay, it's a heist movie. I will go see it. And it, like, I 100% anticipated just watching this movie and being like, all right, as long as it's kind of as good as the second movie, I'm okay. And I literally went into the movie like, there's no way this movie is even remotely as good as the second movie, because even though the second movie wasn't really all that good, because there's extra characters now, and they're bringing back Elisa Fisher, who I love, but wasn't in the second one, and so now they have to have her and the Lulu, who they introduced in the second one, and we're not going to get a bonkers Woody Harrelson performance, which was the whole point of the second movie. And so how could this work better? And I am flat out here to tell you this movie is significantly better than the second movie.
Oh, yeah?
It's significantly better. Like, if you have if like you just really want to watch a heist movie and one that you've never seen before, and you see this as an option, I recommend it.
Okay.
Because they do a really good job of integrating the 3 new kids. They do a really good job with the heists themselves. Part of this is integrating magic in with the heists, and they do a fantastic job of that. And yeah, this is a movie that says, basically, we're just going to have fun with this one, and everybody seems to be having fun with this one. Whereas I think in the second one, really just Woody Harrelson was allowed to have fun, and everybody else just kind of needed to be there for Woody.
That's an interesting take. I really, now you got me intrigued, because I didn't think that the second one did enough to keep the joy of the first one.
It didn't.
It sounds like they recaptured it on this one.
Yeah, it really did. And you know, it makes some mistakes, as many sequels will do. It makes some mistakes, but nothing unforgivable. And it has a reveal at the end that is almost like, did you really earn that reveal? But ultimately, oh God, I can't remember the woman who plays the villain. She plays a Bond villain that is just absolutely an all-timer Bond villain, and it's so much fun. Her name being where are you? Rosamund Pike.
Yeah. Okay.
She is so good. She is so campy fun, just as a terrible person. Yeah, so I'm giving this one 3+ guac.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's not as good as the first one, but very few sequels ever are. But it is so much better than the second one, and it really understands what it's trying to do. The last movie, really quick, I promise, is a movie called Keeper. This is Osgood Perkins' latest movie. Osgood Perkins, everybody got nutty crazy about for Long Legs, when that was his movie. And then he did The Monkey, by the way, Stephen King. He did The Monkey earlier this year, and now he has Keeper out now. This one kind of got buried, especially from the guy who made Long Legs. It's like Long Legs was just, they did such a good job of marketing it and ramping up interest and ramping up interest and ramping up interest. And I think having Nick Cage in it helped a lot there, that people were just clamoring for it by the time it came out. I don't think most people even know this movie came out and know anything about it.
Yeah.
It's interesting and fascinating, and I really I liked it, but people for some reason aren't liking it as much because it's not as good as Longlegs. It's definitely not as good, but the story is there's a woman and a dude. They've been dating for a little while, and she goes to his cabin, and when she gets there, we start getting flashbacks of people from the past, and weird things are going on. And speaking of wrong footing earlier in the movie, the movie just really wrong foots you the whole time to make you wonder, is he really bad, or is she just kind of a little off, mentally and reading into things. And it really, it as long as you go in with that understanding and stay to the end and are willing to accept that it turns from, a questionable domestic situation to a sort of like a fantasy thriller, which I was willing to buy into. I think a lot of people just aren't going to be willing to buy into the fantasy thriller aspects of it. But ultimately for me, 3 tacos.
Thanks.
Excellent tacos. I did genuinely enjoy this movie. But it's not getting a lot of good reviews. But it goes, make your own decisions on that. Sergio,
people should always do. Now, before you sign off, I have a question for you, or I have a request.
Yeah.
When you went to go see any of your movies, did you get the trailer for The Bride? Jesse Buckley.
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah.
That I want on that show. So
okay.
That looks brilliant.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's our darling Jesse Buckley.
I know Jesse Buckley. Are you kidding me? And have you watched Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein on Netflix yet?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I did.
And thoughts?
I enjoyed it. it. If I had to give it tacos, I'd say it was 3 plus guac. So, yeah.
I think I just landed on 3, but there's it. There were things that I really liked and things that I would
same.
What are we doing here? What's coming up that you kind of want to be in on?
Oh gosh.
So let me just go through. Sisu 2 is next week.
Oh gosh.
Wicked for Good is coming out. I know you loved the first Wicked. I'm kidding. Zootopia 2, so obviously no. Oh my goodness. I may not see you again until do you care about Avatar Fire and Ash in December?
I do.
Okay, cool. So let's look at December 19th as the week of Christmas to have you on for Avatar Fire and Ash.
When is Sisu again?
Next week.
It opens next week?
It opens next week.
So it would be the week after that would be the show.
So it'd be a week from today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It opens this week. It opens this weekend.
Oh.
So it'd be a week from today.
Yeah, this is a really busy weekend. Otherwise, I'd say but I'm gonna have to watch your take on it because I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Definitely Avatar.
All righty. Sweet. We'll see.
Well, thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Would you care to send us off here?
Sure. First of all, again, thanks, Paul, for having me on. I always love doing this with you, and I love getting a chance to tell folks that, as Paul and I always say, we thank you so much for being here, and we want to remind you that you're awesome, you're amazing, and the world's a better place because you are in it. We'll see you soon. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. See you next week.